A wonderful good morning from me here at the Prime XPT Trading Academy studio to you out there. I hope you're having a great morning, great afternoon, or great evening, wherever you are watching from in the world. I have my coffee ready for today's show, and I'm going to take a sip now. And today we want to talk about Ethereum breaking out of its price channel between 3,000 US dollars and 3,350 US dollars to the north, that is. We're going to have a look at the next price target, which probably is going to be around 4,000 US dollar. We are going to have a look at what that means for Bitcoin and the market cap of Bitcoin. Are we going to witness a flippening soon? Is Ethereum soon going to take Bitcoin over in terms of market cap? Or is this all just FOMO and we have to be realistic? So, welcome to today's show. And much has been happening really in the last 24 hours. And I have to say, exciting times. Not so much probably for the people out there that are trading Bitcoin at the moment. Kind of boring developments yesterday and today, at least so far. But the more things are actually in Ethereum at the moment, because we are seeing a breakout pattern with this volatility squeeze here, and that seems to be a very, very bullish signal for a lot of market participants out there. Quick risk disclaimer before we do the deep dive here, guys. This webinar is brought to you and provided by the primexbt.com research team. This is educational content. This is the market presented to you from the eyes and experience of a professional trader with an institutional background. But please, 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 this is no financial advice. We intend to inform you so you can make your own better and well-informed trading decisions. So always do your own due diligence too. All right, let's really jump right into the chart because there's a lot of happening here. So what we saw yesterday is we had this really quite long sideways trading range of Ethereum from the beginning of August. After, same like Bitcoin, we saw a breakout to the north. So Bitcoin and Ethereum kind of moved parallel there. And then we had this long sideways range between 3,000 and 3,350 roughly. And yesterday we saw a breakout. So that was this candle here to the north. And this is special and valid because the breakout happened with quite a lot of volume. So the volume candle you see down here, not the candle, the volume. So with a high volume breaking out of a ascending triangle here, that is to the north over the 3,350. So a lot of market participants out there really see this as a very bullish sign. And if you go through the media today, you can already see people talking about 4,000. And it's not that far away actually anymore, isn't it? So we're talking about a move, what is that here, of roughly 15 to 17% that we still need to reach the 4,000. So exciting times there. And if you see also the performance of Ethereum in the past year in comparison to other cryptocurrencies, I compared it here to Ethereum with Bitcoin, Litecoin, and EOS. You can very clearly see that Ethereum is the outperformer by far that we saw. We saw this pattern already back then in May before the markets came crashing down here. Ethereum went up to a yearly performance of up to 760%. Now we are at around about 640%. In comparison, the very good performance of Bitcoin of around about 295% in the past year. So that is since last September 2020, really dwarfs in comparison to that. So that is exciting. And of course, people are now talking about whether or not we are going to see a flippening of market cap. So if we look at the market cap, and let's quickly go to coin market cap for this. If we look at the market cap of Ethereum in comparison to Bitcoin, so Ethereum now has a market cap of 413 billion US dollars, whereas Bitcoin is at 888 billion US dollars. So around about, like, what is that, like 48, 49% is there. So if Ethereum wants to overtake Bitcoin, what we would need to see, if Bitcoin stays where it is right now, we would need to see Ethereum prices at around about 7,000 US dollars. That is if the supply of obviously doesn't change. If the price stays the same, but the supply rises, obviously we're going to see a larger market cap as well. So exciting times, but you have to take this with a grain of salt, because when you look now into the news, you will see a lot of positive sentiment, a lot of positive news for Ethereum. So if your Ethereum price prediction teases launch to 4,000 as discussions balloon, we have news there about a lot of institutional money flowing into Ethereum. And we have a spike in social volume. So that is always something that is important for a sentiment trader like me. That is, so you want to see how often does a word, in this case Ethereum, but you can do this whole sentiment analysis obviously for any other cryptocurrency, or for that matter of fact for anything out there. So you can do a sentiment analysis for your own name, for example, as well, if you are mentioned on social networks. And we see a spike then with social mentions. I did my own research here as well, and I use socialsearcher.com for this. And what we see here is a lot of mentions, and a lot of those mentions are positive at the moment throughout all the social platforms. So that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit, and so on and so forth. So everything of, let's say, importance out there. There's a ratio of 9 to 1 positive to negative mentions. So only 5% of the posts out there right now for Ethereum make up negative mentions. And this is, of course, something positive, because this is a positive sentiment, and a positive sentiment usually means that you will have a higher reaction to the upside than to the downside. But it's also something to be concerned of, because this is usually the peak of things you are going to see, and after this, things are going to decline a little bit again. And this whole discussion we are seeing here right now reminds me a lot of what we saw back then in 2017. And if I zoom out here a little bit, I think I need to do this logarithmic. Can we do it? No, we cannot do this. Okay, never mind. Then we do it like this. Doesn't make sense. Hold on. Let me reload that chart quickly. Makes things easier. All layouts, performance. Here we go again, and now I'm going to zoom out of 5 years. Yeah, this is what you saw back then as well. You had this phase in 2017, actually also from May 2017 until the peak that was end of 2017, I think 18th or 19th of December that was, where Ethereum had a large outperformance of Bitcoin, same with Litecoin, by the way. But then the higher they rose, the harder they came crashing down. And I remember back then somebody told me, yeah, this is because Ethereum acts like an option for Bitcoin. And an option here is meant in terms of, on financial terms. So everything that Bitcoin does, Ethereum will do with a much higher leverage. So if Bitcoin goes up, let's say 10%, you will see Ethereum going up 30% or 40%. If Bitcoin goes down 10%, you will usually see Ethereum going down 20 or 30 or 40%. So Ethereum does what Bitcoin does, but with much higher up and down swings. That is for the moment. Of course, now we can question that a little bit, or not only a little bit, and see like, hey, this pattern at the moment we are seeing now is that it seems like Ethereum is going to separate a little bit from Bitcoin. And by the way, if you zoom out here, still the performance for the past 5 years, Ethereum surpasses the great performance of Bitcoin at 7,600% by a crazy amount of 30,000%. So don't get me wrong. Of course, we are seeing good developments from great assets. But if you are thinking about jumping onto the train, and if you are thinking about trying to jump on now and see if Ethereum really goes up to 4,000 US dollars, I just want to keep you just want to keep that you. I just want to notify you that you keep in the back of your head that if we are going to see a downswing again, it could be larger than what you see in a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. So this is just a fair word of warning, so to say. All right, let's have a look at Bitcoin also. And if you were my guest on the show yesterday, you saw that we identified, or actually Glassnode it is for that matter of fact, identified three important areas for the Bitcoin price at the moment. A strong support area here in between 31,000 and 40,000. So strong support meaning should the price go all the way down here, it's the state and the state of a market doesn't much change from the sentiment. It's very likely that we'll somewhere in between here find a bottom. We have another good support area in this area where we are actually right now, and that is between 45 and 50,000. So good support area, meaning we still see traders, we still see investors accumulating coins there, especially whales, so Bitcoin holders with large wallets north of 10,000 Bitcoin that really have deep pockets to buy and sell, and where orders can really move the market. And we have a resistance area here between 53.4 thousand and 59,000, which probably will be hard to overcome. And I noticed something yesterday. If you guys have been following me a little bit, you know I quite like the stock to flow model for Bitcoin, which is projecting a price of 100,000 minimum for this year. Not because I want to believe in it, but I think the quantitative model, the statistical model that it's based on, it's really solid and has proven itself over and over again to really be something that is to be reckoned with. And one thing I remembered back then, there was a post by the creator of this model, and he goes by the handle of at 100 trillion US dollars, or Plan B, probably stands for Plan Bitcoin, I assume. And back then in June, 20th of June, he said, hold on a second here, he said, my worst case scenario for 2021, and this he's basing this on the price and on-chain metrics, so metrics from the blockchain of Bitcoin. Excuse me. August should close above 47,000. September should close above 43,000. October above 63. November above 98,000, and December above 135,000 US dollars. And I think this is very interesting because when he tweeted this was the 20th of June. On the 20th of June, we were still, and let me get my highlighter here. 20th of June was here. So we were here. This was the closing candle. That was at round about, what is that, 35.5 to 36,000 US dollars were back then. And I think this is very special because if you remember, the whole narration around Bitcoin back then was quite negative. We just had slammed down here in May because of all the fear, uncertainty, and doubt tweeted by Elon Musk, with Tesla not accepting Bitcoins as payments anymore, with China cracking down on Bitcoin mining, banning Bitcoin mining. You saw the hash rate of Bitcoin obviously coming down after this. Now it's recovering again for quite some time already. And back then he made a tweet, and I think this is very brave. This is really a brave thing to do because you expose yourself to a lot of anger and people pointing fingers of you towards you, I think is the right term here. Back then. So in all this negative sentiment, he said, well, I'm still sticking to my model. I don't see why what we witnessed now is going to invalidate the model. And I think August we're going to close above 47,000. And I mean, he was so point on. We closed yesterday at around about 47,000 US dollars. So you couldn't be more spot on with this analysis. And by the way, this is his worst case scenario. So It stands to say that, of course, this could be like a coincidence, like everybody now and then is right. But he has a history of being right about things like this. And interestingly, he also mentions that in September he expects maybe a little bit lower prices. So could be that we move down a little bit here in September in Bitcoin. And that would personally not surprise me at all, because if you've been listening the last days to me, I said, for me, it looks a little bit like that we are a bit, stuck between this area of 50,000 and I said 46,000 here, because this is the area where the 200-day moving average is at the moment is. And this is always something a lot of long-term traders out there and institutional traders look at as price validation for the position. And I said I wouldn't be surprised to see, the Bitcoin price move sideways here for a way, maybe even with a trend a little bit more down. So a lot like what we saw back then in July, where we had really, I don't want to call it a boring move, but yeah, it kind of was like that. We had these days with just a little bit of volatility, not much up, not much down. Really like a market that where usually as a trader you would say, oh my God, this market is going to put me to sleep now. And you saw this also with the Bollinger Bands here contracting, then suddenly boom, yeah, boom, they are going like this, like a scissor, parting from each other. That was the volatility squeeze we were expecting back then as well. And why not seeing something like this in September, dulling everybody in for the major part of September, for the next 30 days, and then just suddenly to go up again with a strong move with like 7, 8, 9 days in a row upward movements that will very fast probably lead us again to the all-time highs here. So this is a possibility I personally see at the moment, and I said it the last days already. This is actually a trading scenario which is quite good to play if you want to stay out of a market at the moment, because you don't know, like, is this guy from Prime XPT really right? Are we going to see higher prices eventually this year, or maybe we are going down? You can always work with stop sell and stop buy orders. If you can wait, you can place a limit order that you want to buy into the market. For example, up here, you can place a limit order, a stop sell order, that is in this case down here. If you're waiting for those moves up or down, first to confirm your opinion. So this is always a possibility. And back then, when we saw this volatility squeeze down here, this is exactly what I said back then. Okay, we don't know if we know there is the likelihood of a volatility squeeze coming is there, but we don't know if it's going to be an upwards move or if it's going to be a downwards move. In this case, it was an upwards move. So if you played this game with a stop buy order, and it could have been as far as way as 40,000, for example, you would have made a solid profit, really very solid profit. Anything much more than you probably will ever get in terms of interest from your bank, if you get interest at all and not are going to pay interest. That is. So yeah, there's not so much news on Bitcoin really going on. So let's see how the price behaves now. As long as we stay within this range, not much action in the long run. So for my personal portfolio at the moment, I want to use prices at around 46,000 to slowly build up a position again in anticipation. But of course, you need to have your game plan ready, because if I personally am wrong about the market, could also be that we see prices falling down to that range again. And maybe we saw already the top of a market. You never know. But for sure, what we know is that it's in very exciting time at the moment for cryptocurrencies, because we know action is going to happen either to the north side or to the south side. So we are prepared to see a lot of volatility in the upcoming month. Of course, we all would prefer to be to the upside, but you never know. So we are prepared for everything to come, and of course, we will keep you on track with everything important that is happening, for sure. If you want to get in touch with us, You can do so because, for example, you have a question you would like to discuss here live on the show. You can do so under academy@primexpt.com. Please drop us an email. We will answer every single email, of course. And you can follow us on Twitter, also under @px_academy. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you're watching on YouTube, leave us a thumb up, subscribe to our channel, and leave us a comment. I'm nosy to know, what is your opinion about Bitcoin? Are we going to see a great last 3 months of a year, or are we going down? What is your opinion on Ethereum? How are you positioning yourself? How are you preparing yourself for the rest of the year? Leave a comment. Would love to hear from you. We are going to see each other again tomorrow at 10 a.m. CET. Until then, always remember to use the stop loss and the take profit, and stay safe. Goodbye.